We don't live above our means. I don't know what less than paycheck to paycheck is. What is that? Poverty. As a registered nurse, with a husband, with a second income. He doesn't make as much as I do, but he still works.
Okay, so if she's sitting there crying with a husband, with a second income in her household, what do y'all think the rest of us are doing? I mean, it's so crazy how she's crying, and I'm just laughing to keep from crying because, baby, life is lifing. 2023 has been something else, but you know what? The reason why I'm not crying is because I have been afforded so many opportunities, and I have a chance to keep going, so I sympathize with her. But baby, these 9-to-5s is not cutting it. They're not cutting it for everybody. So even though I feel her pain, you just gonna have to go out and get a second stream.
All right, Shalom.
Shalom.
First and foremost, I want to give all praise and glory to Yahawah, by Sham, Yahawashi, by Sham, Rakakwadash. Double honors to the elders of GMS who were well. Peace and salutations to Lake Akim on the four corners, pushing the truth with sincerity. Peace be unto you. Shalom.
Shalom.
This lesson I want to do, or we want to do about this video we saw about this Edomite woman, basically, or she was a nurse. And nurses, registered nurses, for the most part, have a reputation of making decent money. They can still be broke though. A lot of them, you know, get paid good hourly, but some don't want to actually work the hours. Sometimes they just want to just do like 2 12s and that's it. You know, it'd be it's a very, very stressful job. You know, it's very, very taxing. So I'm not sure how many hours that she works, but she was basically complaining about how she don't live above her means. She makes decent money. She's an RN. Her husband makes decent money, and they can't. She was like, "What's below paycheck to pay? What's before paycheck to paycheck? Like what? Poverty?" And she was basically crying and complaining with her white tears that she couldn't afford the lifestyle that she was living. She was showing her house. She like, it's not a big house, and I'm looking at that, it's bigger than mine. That's what I was saying to myself. But she was basically still complaining that she can't afford it, you know, and it goes to
and that's with 2 people,
right?
not one, not uno, but dos, 2 people, 2.
And that was a statement that another chick on Instagram, who I guess that did the video.
Yeah, a so-called black woman. She was like, if it's like that with 2 people, imagine how it is with 1. Because hey, Eve's single. Don't nobody want her ass. You know? Don't nobody want her. You know, the majority of them are overweight. They have inflated, you know, egos and self-esteem. You know, so don't nobody want them. So basically, Eve is doing it alone. So basically, that Eve that made the response video to the video that we're making the response to, basically said that she's basically laughing to fight back tears. Because if it's like that for you with 2 people, imagine how it is for 1. People are struggling out here. But the point of the video is to show how the curses that have been upon us, all right, is coming upon you Edomites and you other nations. See, in situations like this, it's not too much long afterwards that I bet you they're gonna end up filing for divorce. I bet you they're gonna end up filing for divorce, and if they got kids, they're gonna go through a custody thing. But however, that's just gonna make it worse on that woman. But she's gonna take out all of her anger and frustration on him. But that's just the curses coming upon these Edomites too.
This is...
Oh, to emphasize this too, she said, oh, I'm an RN, I make pretty good money, you know, basically flexing, right? But then she said that my husband doesn't make as much as me. You didn't have to throw that up in there. But that shows you something right there. She said, oh, my husband doesn't make as much as me, but he make pretty good money too. Showing that what? She's the breadwinner. So all of the strain of the financial strain basically falls on her. You know, all of the major and important things falls on her. You know, so basically she's carrying the weight of the family. All right, but he's helping out as much as he can, but she's carrying the weight of the family, the burden. So you could just imagine, you know, how she's talking to him, you know, belittling him. Oh, you're not doing enough. You know, the things that Jake women used to say to Jake men when they were in the household.
Yeah, the NB, she basically, she's broke down herself. You know, she's looking towards the first of the month to get her food stamps herself. You know, living either with her mom or her dad in some type of toxic relationship because she can't afford, because she want to be independent. Or if they somehow do manage to live on their own, they're working 3 damn jobs, getting what, 2 hours of sleep, and taking it out on everybody in the whole world. That's why it's no surprise that the NB is the most evicted. They're the most evicted. You know, they're I think they said a while back, I'm not sure how updated it is, but basically they had a net worth of like $5, like basically a financial worth of like $5. You know, supporting, you know, then almost all of them got weed habits. That weed is expensive. That could be a light bill, depending on how much weed they gotta smoke. That could be a light bill. That could be half of a car note, maybe a whole car note. You know, so they got that. Then the weed habits. You know, they can't afford living right now at all. This is real quick. This is Isaiah 13:12. It says, "I will make a man more precious than fine gold, even a man than the golden wedge of Ophir." So as we get closer and closer to martial law, women are going to really need a man, you know, for protection. But right now, they need a man simply just to help live, you know, month to month.
Yeah.
Ask yourself, how many women do you know, Gen Z women do you know that or young millennial women, or even women in general, or MBs, that live on their own, pay all their own bills, and they're financially in a good place?
Yeah, that's if they got an OnlyFans. But anyway, you're becoming or have become victim of your own devices. You know, see, you followed the serpent's advice and you tried to do it all on your own. You tried to, you know, be independent. You know, you thought that, all right, you didn't actually need a man, you know, because at a point in time, this society and economy, you know, provided a comfortable life for you. But now you're becoming uncomfortable because things are becoming expensive. And it's only so long before it becomes too expensive and unaffordable. All right, and the society breaks. All right, it collapses. The crutches is pulled from under it, and you know, everybody is unplugged from, you know, the life support. And then that's when you're going to really realize how important it is having a man around. See, like Lauryn Hill said, you know, it could all be so simple. All you had to do was just be quiet and be a wife. But no, you had to make your voice heard. You had to make yourself equal. You wanted equality. Well, this is what equality feels like. For a long time, men have been bearing the burden, you know, of carrying the family and providing. But you wanted that role and position. So now that pressure is on you, all right, now you want to cast that stone or that burden away from you. So equally, you got a bunch of women that are looking for companionship in men now. But however, those men aren't going to want to, you know, basically get with you because of your attitude. You know, you damaged goods. So, if you could, Baba Kushai, can you grab Deuteronomy, the 30th chapter? And let's try to read from verse 1 through verse 7.
Deuteronomy chapter 30, verse 1, and it shall come to pass when all these things are come upon me, the blessings and the curse which I have set before thee, and thou shalt call them to mind among the nations, whither Yahawah thy God have driven thee, and shall return unto Yahawah thy God, and shall obey his voice according to all that I have commanded thee this day, thou and thy children with all thine heart, and with all thy soul, that then Yahawah thy God will turn thy captivity and have compassion upon thee, and will return and gather thee from all the nations whither Yahawah thy God hath scattered thee.
So this is dealing with the elect, all right, coming back into the knowledge, all right, of who they are, and worshiping Yahawah, all right, through Yahawashi, and having faith. All right, so they know who they are, all right, and they know the truth. All right, like it says in the book of Baruch, that in the land of captivity thou shalt remember thyself. But we're not only just remembering ourselves, we're remembering our Heavenly Father, and we're remembering him by name, and his son, which is Yahawah and Yahawashi.
Verse 4, if any of thine be driven out unto the uttermost parts of heaven, from thence will Yahawah thy God gather thee, and from thence will he fetch thee.
And the uttermost parts of heaven is all the way over here in America. Because at a point in time, there was only 3 parts of the world that was known about, which was Asia, all right, Egypt, and Europe. Those are the only 3 parts that were known about. But eventually, all right, through reading the scriptures, all right, these Edomites found out that the existence of America over here, but this is before it was called America. Eventually, they gave it that name, so this will have to be the uttermost part of heaven. So the scriptures is saying that, look, we were going to be driven even all the way up until this side of the world.
And Yahawah thy God will bring thee into the land which thy fathers possess, and thou shalt possess it, and he will do thee good and multiply thee above thy fathers. And Yahawah thy God will circumcise thine heart and the heart of thy seed, to love Yahawah thy God with all thine heart and with all thy soul, that thou mayest live.
Yep, and circumcising thine heart, meaning thy mind. So all of the wickedness is going to be cut away, so that only the righteousness remain. So that's a fulfillment of Jeremiah, the 31st chapter.
And Yahawah thy God will put all these curses upon thine enemies, and on them that hate thee, which persecuted thee.
Which is starting now, though. All right, in which we're seeing all of the curses that are upon us, you know, go upon our enemies. So now their houses are being divided. All right, their husbands is against their wives, and their wives are against their husbands. You know, and their families are being separated. their wives are complaining and murmuring against them. Oh, you're not making enough, or you're not doing enough, or you're not a real man. Well, they're starting to experience that on their end as well. Financially, their houses are being destroyed. All right, they're sowing much but bringing in little. All right, their labor isn't fruitful. All right, and they're watching an enemy that they hated and tried to destroy, all right, become better and do better than them within their society. All right, so you can just imagine how damaging this is to their ego. All right, they're doing bad, but what you're starting to become introduced to in the regard of poverty, we've been going through this. So even the slightest, because you've been on top, so even the slightest notch under the level of where you've been living is going to be a lot to you. But you're going to fall even lower than that. They're still living in a decent sized house. So their poverty ain't really our poverty, but however, they're going to come down lower than where we're at. So you can just imagine, you know, what's going to go on with them. They're going to lose their minds. Because being in that middle class position, they felt like they were on top of the world. Taking 3 vacations a year, eating at Ruth Chris, all right, ordering, you know, the steak tartare with the wine, you know, squishing around in their jaws. Ain't no more of that. All right, ain't no more Macy's. All right, no more Gucci. All right, no more Louis Vuitton. No more Balenciaga. Ain't no more of that for these Edomites, man. All right, they're shopping at the same places where you're shopping at. All right, they're moving into your neighborhood because they're losing their houses, or they got to sell their houses. All right. All right, they already took out a second or third mortgage on a house. All right, it's a wrap for them. They're maxed out. And that's the curses coming on them.
You know, and you got all this is diabolically planned by Esau. You know, as we moving towards, you know the fourth industrial revolution, as you know, artificial intelligence is taking over. There's going to be less jobs that's going to be available. Now, when you think about it, you have monogamy is expensive. If imagine if this woman had another sister wife. Let's say if it was, you know, 2 or 3. Now all of them are working and contribute under the same household to knock out these bills. But no, they want to just have it where they only want, you know, a husband and a wife, and that's it. But before, you would have, you know, multiple wives, and they will actually still work around the house. You know, cut up lamb, butcher it, gather grapes. You'll even read that women will fetch water, you know, feed the animals. You know, even your children. You know, your children, they're young, and they would, you know, work on your farm or anything like that, or, you know, start learning a trade early, you know, when they're 6, 7 years old, you know, whether it's learning how to make tents or whatever. But kids were financially contributing to the house. You had more kids, that meant more money. You got your children that's working, and then by the time they get of real age, they actually have more of a skill set. But you got these child labor laws where they can't work till I think like 13 or something like that. And then they not working for the family; they're working for corporations.
Yep.
They're not learning any skill. They're learning a skill how to flip burgers, or
nothing that really benefited in life.
Exactly. So you can't take it on. You know, you do that from, like, let's say 13 to 19. Then you really want to learn a trade, and then you start off learning your trade at 19, 20, 21, 22, or 23, depending on what, you know, when you graduated college or once you decided to get your field.
So you behind.
Exactly. Now, if you got, you know, children and they're being raised, you know, okay, here's how you know, basically sow the land. Here's how you trying to think of some other trades. Here's how you make a house, and you just teaching them like the simple stuff, like, okay, here's a hammer, here's a nail, and they done accumulated a lot of stuff, a lot of knowledge, but not in this society. So I don't know if that woman had kids or not, but kids now, they're expensive. They're not bringing you home, you know, money like that. And then your wife is a burden, but hey, it would be a lot easy if she had another woman working with her in the house, and they're all bringing in income. Imagine if they had 3 streams of income, and they're all contributing to the house. But no, this whole spirit of monogamy. Isaiah 4:1 talks about 7 women shall take hold of 1 man. Let me grab it.
So basically, go get you a sister wife. No, but shit, just having one is a burden at this moment. Hey, the scriptures say, you know, that the cares of this world choke them. You know, the cares of this world, and that, I'm speaking about the parable of the sower. I believe that's Luke, either the 7th or the 8th chapter. Slacky, I don't have the phone in front of me. You know, I'm using the steering wheel, but ultimately, it speaks about, you know, individuals that come into this truth, but then the cares of this world choke them. Well, a lot of those cares that usually choke guys of falling out of the truth is the fact that they have that burden of taking care of a wife, you know, and children, all right, or, you know, it might just be a woman, you know, but however, an example of that would be the guy, one of the islands, you know, the guy that wanted to become the singer so he can buy his mother a house. You know, that's a prime example of the cares of this world choking you. You know, but then eventually receive some form of judgment in a way because he left his truth. He turned his back on the plow. He turned his back on Yahawah, Sham, Yahawashi. You know, so having a family, all right, and having a wife, you have to care for that wife, or you have to care for those children. So that's a huge burden, especially within today's economy. It's a huge burden within today's economy. All right, and then the woman, you know, where she get the nagging, you know, and saying certain things. Now you come, you know, from working hard, you don't want to hear that shit, you know, at the end of the day. But ultimately, you got to remember that this wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, and this truth, you know, Yahawashi comes first, all right, before all of that. And to continue to put Yahawashi first and seek the kingdom of heaven. All right, because in seeking the kingdom of heaven, the Heavenly Father will provide all things you need. And also help and sustain, all right, you and your family. All right, but however, hey, we see our enemies ain't doing that. So guess what? There's a heavy burden on them. What you got?
I'm gonna get on everything else.
Okay. Baba Kashad, can you grab Sirach, the 11th chapter? It started about 14.
Sirach 11 and 14. Prosperity and adversity, life and death, poverty and riches come of Yahawah.
I'm sorry, start at 12.
Verse 12, it says,
but that's ultimately the point right there, verse 14.
Sirach 11 and verse 12. Again, there is another that is slow, that hath need of help, wanting ability, and full of poverty. Yet the eye of Yahawah look upon him for good, and set him up from his low estate.
And that's us. And I believe maybe a verse or two above that speaks about, I'm sorry, go up to 10 and read down.
Sirach 11 and 10. My son, meddle not with many matters, for if thou meddle much, thou shalt not be innocent, and if thou follow after, thou shalt not obtain, neither shalt thou escape by flying. There is one that laboreth and taketh pains and maketh haste, and is so much the more behind.
And that's was us for a long time within the society. A lot of us, here it is, you're laboring, but you were so much more behind. You're like, damn, you get your check, and then fucking 3 things hit you at one time. So you eventually worked up enough to cover a certain thing, but then 2 more things came up. So you even further behind now, So that was us. But now these Edomites are starting to experience that. And what are we getting ready to experience? Well, the next verse.
Verse 13. And lifted up his head from misery, so that many that saw it.
That was verse 11 you just read.
Oh, yeah.
Read 12 again.
Slacky. Again, there is another that is slow, and hath need of help, wanting ability, and full of poverty. Yet the eye of Yahawah looked upon him for good, and set him up from his low estate.
Yeah, so that's us. All right, while we were being set up from our low estate, all right, because we came very low, and our enemies got up very high. Now, those enemies are coming down very low, and we're being set up on high. Go ahead.
13. And lifted up his head from misery, so that many that saw it marveled at him. Prosperity and adversity, life and death, poverty and riches come of Yahawah.
So prosperity, adversity, all right, life and death, all of those things come from the Heavenly Father. All right, and now you Edomites are going through adversity. All right, now you're going through poverty. All right, and you're getting the taste of what it feels like to experience the curses. All right, but however, those curses going to be full-fledged on your ass in the kingdom of heaven. All right, you're just getting the taste of it. It's like the soup is being cooked, and it's almost at the point of being finished. So you taste it a little bit. Well, you getting a little taste, but eventually you're gonna have to eat the whole pot.
Verse 15. Wisdom and knowledge and understanding of the law are of Yahawah. Love and the way of good works are from him. Keep reading.
That's pretty much it. So with that, we just wanted to do something on that video from that RN, which was an Edomite, and giving her testimony of how this economy is affecting her and her household. To show how, these curses are coming upon our enemies. In Salakia, a little bit earlier, the camera cut out, but however, they were able to keep going through the spirit and power of Yahawah by Sham. We do hope that this lesson was edifying. All right, until the next time, Shalom.